Greetings, Patrick here, and welcome to Dollar Theater. Dollar Theater is an ongoing series started by our good buddy Hobbs Horror, in which we watch and review movies from, or we do, watch and review films from $1.25 and below. There are some other Dollar Theater folks out there, including the Newlydeads, who have their ceiling just a little bit higher at $5 or below, but they also do some awesome reviews. I'm gonna start putting both of their channels from now on, or probably even go back to put them on in my past episodes, as they're the ones that are doing Dollar Tree Theater. I want to give Hobbs the credit, and I want to acknowledge the fact that Joe and Laura are doing it as well. So tonight, I decided to visit IFC. I haven't really done that many on here, but we're doing one today, and we're going to be covering 2012's Save the Date. So Save the Date, it's a StarCast. It's a StarCast for sure. It stars Lizzy Caplan. You might remember seeing her. She's been on a ton of things, including Now You See Me Too. Part 3 is coming out next month. The lovely Alison Brie from Community, and I heard yesterday that she's going to be Evil Lynn in the He-Man movie. I don't know how that's going to go because she's so darn cute. Martin Starr, who currently is starring in Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone. Jeffrey Arend, who is doing voice acting, it seems like right now, doing a lot of DC movies and series. And Mark Webber, who plays Jonathan. And he also has been doing some episodic TV work, including a recent episode of NCIS Sydney. So, and this movie is filmed by Michael Mohan, but we'll get to him in a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about this movie. So this is definitely, it's a romantic film. It's not a rom-com. It is a dramatic film, and basically two sisters. Bale is listed as a romantic comedy, but it really isn't. It's a straight drama, a romantic drama, so to speak. So it stars Alison Brie and Lizzy Caplan as sisters, Beth and Sarah. Sarah's actually the older sister. And that's played by Lizzy Caplan, and then there's Beth. Honestly, I don't really know if they established who was older. I don't think they did, so I can't tell you that. I can just tell you that they're sisters, and they're both in relationships with bandmates, Andrew and Kevin. And Andrew and Kevin are a two-piece band called Wolfbird, and Kevin is Sarah's boyfriend, and Andrew is Beth's fiance. They're getting ready to get married, and Beth is going around trying to put together the wedding, and have a little bit of hard time getting her fiance involved in it. Whereas Sarah is going out with Kevin, but Kevin loves her a lot more than she does. She is not ready to get married. She doesn't want to get married. She's not even really sure about if she wants to be in the relationship she's in. There's just no chemistry between those two. But we see each couple, interact with each other, and we see this. And Kevin he asks Andrew, he says, "Hey, I'm going to propose to Sarah at our gig tonight." And Beth hears about it and says, "Don't do that. Don't do that," because she floated it out there a little bit and was met with a resounding thud. Sarah does not want that to happen. So Andrew says, "Don't do that," and Kevin says, "No, I got you. But they play this packed house, and they're having a great time. The encore comes on. Everything's going great. As far as Kevin's going, him and Sarah in the new apartment, they're getting ready to go on tour. Here it is, a full house for Wolfbird. Everything seems like the perfect timing, and he does. He proposes to Sarah in front of everybody at the show, And Sarah is, of course, appalled. And she's like, no, hell no. So she runs out, and next thing you know, we see Wolfbird is going on tour, and Sarah is moving out of the apartment. She's taken Ferdinand, which is her pet cat, and she is off to an apartment. Well, before this, and the thing is that Sarah is having, she's having this second thoughts, and we see this earlier, slightly earlier at the gig, where she meets this young guy, Jonathan, who he's in his own terms saying he's been sort of stalking her at the bookstore, but he's a nice guy. And actually, in the very beginning of the movie, right when we see the shot opens up and we see Sarah drawing, because she's an artist, we happen to see the back of Jonathan's head, and we figured out that he has been following her a little bit, but nothing creepy. I mean, he's not doing anything or saying anything creepy. He notices her, and then they see each other at the bookshop that she works at. Well, she recognizes him from the bookshop, and so they have a small interaction at the bar before the big show. So yeah, so so things have gone from really cool for everybody to all of a sudden now we're in a pot, a melting pot. Or just Kevin is he's brokenhearted. Andrew is like, he's sort of getting left behind at the marriage because it's starting to become really so involved, and he just wants to get married. He wants to have he just wants to get married. He doesn't want to go through jump through the hoops. So things seem to be going, going to hell. But things are there's some good positive things here. We see that Sarah gets, she's an artist, and she sees that she's going to get a show at a gallery. The band, Beth and Andrew they're starting to come together a little bit better. Like, work with me here. The two sisters are, they're close, and they're talking to each other, and then of course then Sarah meets Jonathan, and they hit it off right off the bat. But they go slow initially, because they, as when they have dinner with Sarah and Andrew, or Beth and Andrew, Beth points out that, you could just be rebound sex. Not the nicest thing you want to hear from your girlfriend's family. The first time you meet, it's like, yeah, I think that, yeah, you'll probably just be the rebounder, So now as the movie goes, the movie moves forward. Now we see Beth is actually starting to get more. She's starting to get really stressed out, and obsessive about the wedding. She wants everything to be perfect. And what she doesn't know is that Sarah finds out that she's pregnant. But she's not really sure who the father is, because she's her and Jonathan are now a couple. And right before they broke up, right before Kevin and her broke up, she was intimate with him as well, pretty close together. So not really sure exactly who the father is. Not to say that she's promiscuous. It just and yeah, and Jonathan's a gentleman. He actually turns down the first time that Beth wants to be intimate. He says no. He says that's not really what he's all about. It's not. He wants to know her. He wants to be with her and get to know her better. And so it's a very sweet moment. And when they do have their moment, it's very cute. And let's just say the cat is involved. That cat was really cute, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. But then Sarah finds out that she's pregnant while they're at their parents' house, and Beth's getting up there giving this, it's supposed to be like their luncheon before the wedding, and their father takes Sarah aside and tells her that, hey, because Beth's out there saying, I want to be just like my parents, I want the same love and dedication as my parents have had for all these years. And then the dad says, well, me and your mom, we're not getting a divorce, but we are separating. And she says, I don't really want to be the one to tell her that. So it's like that, but it puts a little bit more pressure on Sarah. And during the course of their luncheon, she goes to the store because she's throwing up. She's starting to get a feeling about this, and sure enough, she takes the test, and she finds that she's pregnant. And now she's trying to figure out a way to how to break the news to everybody concerned. Jonathan, Sarah, Jonathan and Beth and Andrew and maybe even Kevin. They don't really know. So time the date. The two sisters go out to do shopping because the wedding's still almost 8 months out. And so that tells you an idea how obsessive Beth has gotten. But I can also defend Beth in the sense that once you put a date down, a wedding date down, once you lock in a date when you're going to get married, it could be a year or 2 years. That is the fastest year that you'll ever go through. Speaking from experience, I could not believe how fast our year got. It's when I proposed and she accepted, and time that we walked down the aisle, it was a year. But good Lord, it seemed like weeks. And Sarah is also her show. She got her gallery show. Now it's ready to be shown. So 2 big events for the sisters coming up, and so Sarah and Beth go shopping for a dress, and Sarah finally says, I can't be your bridesmaid. I can't be your. I can't stand up for you because I'll be due. And of course, Beth takes that the wrong way, and she thinks that Sarah did it on purpose to upstage her wedding. So the sisters have a falling out, and she's become so wrapped up in the wedding that she's pushing her sister away when her sister needs her the most. And Andrew, he notices this. He's like, this is not the person I fell in love with. This right here is not working for me. And says, I want our, if we have a family, I don't want this to be in our family. Something like this to happen. And that does seem to wake Beth up, realizing that she's pushing too hard. So they all take a deep collective breath. Sarah decides to take a pause with Jonathan. He doesn't get that because, it comes right after he told her that, he had been leery about entering a relationship because he had gotten a divorce. So this relationship with Sarah was a tremendous risk for him emotionally. And bam, right, and then all of a sudden now she's telling him that, yeah. So sort of like how they when they all met together, when they said you might be the rebound guy, that's what he feels. All of a sudden now he's feeling like, this is some fucking bullshit, and I feel for him. But Sarah just doesn't know how to tell anybody, and it doesn't help that at the art gallery that Kevin shows up, and and he's there, and him and Jonathan have an awkward meeting, and so that didn't help out. Not good. And like I said, Andrew gets a little irritated at the fact that Beth didn't show for her sister's art show because she's mad at her about her pregnancy. And that's what Andrew basically says, hey, we got to think about this. I'm not going to go into this. Jonathan and Andrew, Jonathan and Kevin, Kevin finds where Jonathan works at, and he goes and he attacks him. But it's almost like as soon as he hits him, he realizes that, man, he fucked up. And so those two actually those two actually get up and they talk, and and it was and he's upset that Kevin's upset that Jonathan's actually a pretty nice guy, and he's like, damn, it's like, I wish you were an asshole because it'd be easier to, but he isn't. Jonathan's a really nice guy, and so those two, I wouldn't say they're friends, but they have respect, and Sarah realizes what she needs to do as well, and so she drives home with, well, first she's gonna make a decision, things are going so rapidly for her that she's decided that maybe raising a baby isn't a good time at this point. But Beth comes down there and says, "Hey, wait a minute, please don't do that." So, but we really don't know what was the result of that was. I think that she ended up keeping the baby. I think she ended up keeping it, or the fetus, so to speak. But when her sister drops her off at home, she sees Jonathan sitting on the front step of her house, and he's holding Ferdinand because Ferdinand had gotten out, and she was panicking. Sarah was panicking that she couldn't find her cat, and Jonathan looked for it and found it and brought it home. So they both go inside Sarah's apartment and put down the cat, sit down, and then Sarah looks at Jonathan and says, "Jonathan," I think she was going to tell him about the pregnancy. And we don't know what she says, but it's by the look of her face, you get an idea. I love this movie. I thought it was very well done. Such a great cast. Perfect casting, honestly. I'm not saying it because it's an IFC movie. I'm saying it because it's a damn good movie. And it's a very adult film. And it's about some really good characters, really good people that you come to care about in an hour and 40 minutes. I was impressed, very much impressed. This is, and the thing is, though, it's like, while I'm not the biggest Lizzy Caplan fan, I mean, she's okay. I like her acting, but she's not like, I adore Alison Brie. This is not her first IFC film. She did one called Sleeping with Other People that she did with Jason Sudeikis. And that was actually the first time I ever saw Alison Brie, was in that movie. That's another banger of a movie, too. Really good movie. But this is I believe this is her first film that she did for IFC. So this movie was actually written and directed by Michael Mohan, and I mentioned before about him. And what's really cool about that, he wrote this, is that Michael Mohan he's a terrific director, really good director. He has done actually two movies that I'm very much interested in seeing if I can get a chance to. I'd like to own them, and that is The Voyeurs, which came out in 2021, and then he also directed Immaculate, that came out and had a really great run. That stars both films, The Voyeurs and Immaculate, both star Sydney Sweeney. Now, I've never seen Sydney Sweeney act because I haven't seen the big movie she did with Glenn Powell. But The Voyeurs and Immaculate, I know both got a lot of buzz for her. So yeah, I'm just thinking, wow, you go from a romantic drama like Save the Date, even though this came out in 2012. This is an older film, 2012, but I'm just thinking, how it just basically shows off the skill set, for me anyway, as a director. I mean, he's directing a really, really warm, rich drama here, and then he goes back and he does a suspense movie in The Voyeurs, and then he does a horror film in Immaculate. So basically, it tells you that he's got some skills, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what else he can come up with. He's got another movie that he's doing as a writer called An Innocent Girl that's supposed to be going into pre-production soon. So it'll be another chance to see his writing in play. Yeah. The cat actually steals a lot of the scenes. I know you're gonna sit there and shake your head and go like, "Yeah, of course, Patrick. You know, you and your cats." But honestly, that cat was a super charmer, very charming cat, and it really connected. It connects the characters together, and it's a mackerel tabby, and wow, I was impressed, and it was very well trained. You could see where they had it set up for camera shots, and the cat was, like staying right there it was supposed to be. Now, you can't really train a cat, but he was really trained, or she was really trained very well. And yeah, I thought it was great. As far as the extras go, we do have extras here. What was really bummed about this is this movie actually won some awards too. But this is one of those movies now, looking back at it, you absolutely wish that they would have what they have now with IFC, and that is they have teamed up with Shudder and for horror films to show them around the country. With IFC Films, what they used to do, they go out there to the IFC Center and show them over a weekend. And so when you look at this movie, it says, it made $5,700 at the box office. That's because it never got distributed. It didn't go anywhere other than the IFC Center in New York. And I can't tell you how much of a disservice that is. I could never understand the reasoning behind that. It's like, why would you go out to get a movie like this at these festivals? You buy them, you bring them, and then all of a sudden then you play them there, and they come out with $5,700. People see that. They equate box office with quality. And so when you come out there with a movie that's only made $5,700, the first thing you think of is, well, that movie was some shit. I'm going to skip that. And then you miss out on several great movies. Now, I'm not sure as far as what IFC's doing with their dramas films, as far as distributing to, considering that AMC Theaters owns IMC and they own Shudder. So there's no excuse for them to sit there and say, well, yeah, we don't have any screens to show it on. You're a theater chain. You have all the screens in the world. I just think this movie, of course, no one's ever going to heard of this movie. I'm sure every single person watching this is going to go like, nope, never seen it, Michael, or Patrick. Yeah, and you'll probably be right. But hopefully now here in 2025, that will be changing. I know it has for the horror arm of IFC Midnight. They have worked with Shudder, and now their movies are being seen nationwide. It's a real shame that Save the Date did not get that opportunity, because I think a lot of people would have really enjoyed it. All right, that's all I got. God, I've only done this 25 minutes deep dive, but thank you for watching. If you're a big fan of the cast, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the review. Are you a fan of Michael Mohan? Are you looking forward to seeing? Are you looking forward to seeing He-Man in the universe? I really like to know what you guys think about Alison Brie playing Evil Lynn. I adore that girl. I think she's horribly miscast in that movie. I think she's going to be terribly miscast. It's just, they have Miranda Baccarin playing the sorceress. They should have switched. It would have worked if they would have switched. I could have seen Alison Brie as the sorceress, and I definitely could see Miranda Baccarin playing Evil Lynn. But we'll be back here next Monday for the review of Z. Speaking of Shudder films, we'll be back here with our review of Z. Now, if that movie sounds familiar, that's because the IFC Midnighters deep dived it. But now I'm going to come back and offer my thoughts about the movie in a review. So hopefully you'll come back next Monday for that. And yeah, thanks for your support. We'll talk to you soon.